people
Oh,
on board.
Christabel is also here. Christabel is here.
Welcome,
So
Christabel.
what about Pauline? Okay. So we'll start, please.
Okay, good morning, educators, once more.
Good morning.
Yeah, so we're having a revision class for our Microsoft Certified Educators course. And like I said earlier, it's not difficult. It's not something that we're not used to. It's something we actually do in our classrooms. But now we're having it, more structured. We're having it, under the names it's supposed to be under, with more understanding on how to go about it. So what's the purpose of the 21st century learning design? For us to develop learners that are flexible, learners that are adaptable, and learners that are, fit for the modern workspace. They're fit to join the modern workforce. As we know, can we mute our mics? Let's mute our mics so that we can hear ourselves clearly with no feedbacks. Thank you. All right, so the purpose is to build lifelong learners, learners that can fit into the modern workforce, all right? And of course, we know we're in the 21st century and things are going at a very, very fast pace. And we need to develop our learners to be on top of their game. Of course, we know we have artificial intelligence now, and if we are not careful as humans, we'll be swept off and become irrelevant. So for us not to be irrelevant, we have to up our games, we have to upskill, we have to develop ourselves, especially as educators, okay, as life molders, as life builders, we have to be skilled. We have to know the right skill to impact into our pupils. We are all Nigerians, and we've had examples or cases of where people graduate from our universities and then they cannot even defend the degree they are holding. It's such a sad situation. You see someone that claims to have spent 4 years in the university and comes out for National Youth Service Corps, and then they ask the person, what is the meaning of NYSC? And they cannot tell. They cannot tell. It's so appalling. They ask someone that is an undergraduate first year, at the end of your course, what degree are you going to be having? Are you going to be awarded with? And the person is telling you PhD. So it's so appalling, it's so disappointing, it's so, sad, the level at which we have gotten ourselves. So for us to change the narrative, we have to start, developing our pupils and putting in them skills that will make them competitive in the outside world. All right, that'll make them very competitive in the outside world. That'll make them leaders in the outside world. We've had instances of Nigerians going abroad and excelling, doing very well, because they have the right environment, they have the right facilities, they have the skills impacted in them, and then that's what they have learned comes out and they blossom and they flourish. So that's the purpose of the 21st century learning design, is for us to, develop our young people, put in them skills that are fit for the modern workspace. So the skills are six in number, and we'll be looking at them critically. I want to believe that you have read your manual, you have gone under your tutelage and you've been tutored, and just to refresh our memory and get us ready for our examination. So the first one is collaboration. The second one is skilled communication. The third one is real-world problem solving and innovation. The fourth one, self-regulation. The fifth one, use of ICT in learning. Okay. And the fourth one, knowledge. The sixth one, knowledge construction. So there are 6 in number: called collaboration, skilled communication, self-regulation, knowledge construction, real-world problem solving, and use of ICT in learning. Okay, so let's look at collaboration. What does collaboration mean? What do we want to achieve in teaching our pupils collaboration? Of course, one, we want them to learn teamwork. Teamwork. Well, we are familiar with the saying that no man is an island. You can't do it alone. You can't succeed alone. There's no self-made man. You need the efforts of others. You need the help of others. You need to ride on the back of others for you to be successful in life. So collaboration is very important. So it helps us to teach our pupils teamwork. It helps us to teach them negotiation skills. Of course, in collaborating with others, you have to take decisions. You have to negotiate. You have to take responsibility. Okay? You must learn to listen to the opinion of others. It's not just I, just about me. No. You have to take into consideration the opinions of others. And that is what collaboration hopes to achieve. All right? So when we teach our children the skills of collaboration, we help them to become responsible adults with negotiation skills, with the ability to make substantive decisions together, and of course, to work as a team. Most workplaces now, they will ask you, are you a team player? Can you work with others? Can you collaborate with others? That's a skill for the 21st century, collaboration. So, having talked about what collaboration is and what it helps our pupils to do, it helps them to, have opportunities to be creative. Psychology tells us that a child is born a blank slate, but that has been proven wrong because that child came with something, all right? Because how do you explain if a child is born as a blank slate, how is the child able to know that he's supposed to suckle on the breast? How? So there's something on the inside of the child that needs to be built, that needs to be developed with the help of the environment and with the help of the parents, all right, as the first agents of socialization. So when we look at collaboration, working together in teams or in groups, taking substantive decisions together, sharing responsibilities fairly, and producing interdependent work. That is the whole idea of collaboration. So let's look at the collaboration rubrics. Level 1. Are the pupils working together? If they're not working together, then there is no collaboration. They will still be on level 1. Note the keyword, are they working together? Are they working together in pairs or groups? That's a keyword under collaboration. Are they working together in pairs or groups? So if they're working together in pairs or in groups, then they will move to level 2 of the collaboration rubrics. Okay, so level 1, they are not working together in pairs or in groups. Level 2, they are working together in pairs or groups. Keywords, working together in pairs or groups, okay? So for it to move to level 3, they must be working together. They must be working together in pairs or in groups, and they must share responsibilities fairly. So when we put our pupils in groups to work on a particular project, for it to be truly collaborations, they must share responsibilities fairly. What do we mean by that? It's not just about sharing responsibilities, but sharing responsibilities fairly. So if you have 5 team members, each team member must have a responsibility to carry out in that group project. Okay, so that would be sharing responsibility fairly. I know most of us went to universities where we have group projects, and they group us, our lecturers group us, group one, we're like 5 or 10, depending on your number in the class. You are doing this project, you're working together on this project and all that. And then we come together, and just one person, the group leader, is saddled with the responsibility of getting the project done. The others just contribute money. We just contribute money, just put my name. Whatever he does, we're not aware, we're not interested, just put my name. That is not collaboration. That is not working together. That is not sharing responsibilities fairly. It's just one person that did the work. So it's a one-man project. But under collaboration, every team member must have an assignment, must have a contribution to make towards that project. So every group member must be individually responsible for that project. That is sharing responsibility fairly. Not the group leader, not just 2 members of the group, but every member of the group must have a responsibility in that project, all right, for it to be collaboration. And that'll be collaboration on the code 3 or a level 3, where they're working together in pairs or in groups and sharing responsibilities fairly. All right, so for it to move to a level 4, what do they need to do to move their collaboration to a level 4 or a code 4? They must make substantive decisions together. They must make substantive decisions together. Okay? So if they're working together in pairs, they are sharing responsibilities fairly, then they must make substantive decisions together. Key word, make substantive decisions together. So if they're making decisions, but they're not making it together, then they are not on level 4. If it's only one person that is making the decision for the group, or just 2 people out of 5 making the decision, they are not on the level 4 of the collaboration rubrics. All right? So they must work together. They must make their decisions together. They must come up with ideas and agree on what to do, how to do it, when to do it, who to do it. They must take that decisions by themselves. That's the pupils, not the educator. If the educator is taking the decisions for them, then it does not qualify for level 3, level 4. Level 4. Okay. So for it to go to a level 5, of course, the collaboration rubrics has 5 levels. So for it to qualify for level 5, for their collaboration to be at a code 5, what must they do? Or what should they do for their collaboration to be at a level 5? Okay, for them to be at a level 5, their work must be interdependent. Their work must be interdependent. Their final product must be interdependent. What do we mean by interdependent? That means it must reflect every team member's contribution. Every team member's contribution must reflect in the final output of the product or project that they are carrying out. So the final product must not be one person's idea. It must not be just 2 people's idea. No, it must be every team member's idea. Their ideas must be captured in the final product. And then that will be a level 5 of the collaboration rubrics. So when we get to our students on the project and they work together in pairs or groups, they share responsibilities fairly, they make substantive decisions together, and they produce interdependent work. Then they have made level 5 of the collaboration rubrics. For level 1, I'll go through it again. they are not working together in pairs or groups. They're not working together. So for a level 1, that thing is not working there. It's a no-no for every level 1 of each of the rubrics. Okay, so level 1, they're not working together. Level 2, they're working together in pairs, but they are not sharing responsibilities fairly. Okay, so if they're working together in groups or in pairs and sharing responsibilities fairly, that is a level 3. Okay, but if they're working together in pairs or in groups, but they are not sharing responsibilities fairly, that is a level 2. They might be sharing responsibilities, but if they are not sharing the responsibilities fairly, it is a level 2. Okay, so the key word there is that they are sharing their responsibilities fairly. So don't forget that. And then for level 4, they are, level 3, they are sharing responsibilities fairly. That's a level 3. For level 4, they are making substantive decisions together. And then level 5, their work is interdependent. So when you have questions like, okay, the students are in the learning activity and they are working together, they have been grouped and they are working together in groups, but one person, the group leader, is taking all the decisions for the projects they are working on. What code of the collaboration rubrics is that? What will you code that collaboration? They are working together, but just one person is taking the decisions. So what code is that? What level of the collaboration rubrics would that be? I'm waiting for an answer.
That would be level 2.
Can you explain why is it level 2?
Because the responsibilities are not shared fairly, because only one person is taking up the responsibility.
Okay, thank you. So that would be a level 2. They're working together, but they're not sharing responsibilities fairly. Just one person is being responsible for the group. All right. And then if only one person or 2 people are taking the decisions about everything that needs to be done about that project, all right, it is still a what? If they're not taking decisions together, what level will you code them? Even though they're in a group with shared responsibilities, but it's only one person or 2 people that are taking the decisions, what level will you code them?
It's still level 2, I think.
All right. It's still a level 2. If they're not making decisions together, it's a level 2. But for level 3, they must be taking their decisions together. Thank you very much. I hope we are good with that. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. So we have dealt with that collaboration rubrics, and I hope you have an understanding of that right now. So when you're talking about collaborations, we're talking about working together in pairs or in groups. We're talking about sharing responsibilities fairly. We're talking about taking substantive decisions together. And we're talking about producing interdependent work, a work that reflects everybody's contribution, individual responsibility, accountability, and group accountability. You can see yourself in that work. You can see your contribution in that work, and together you own that work. This is our work. That is that about collaboration. So when we are designing our learning activities and we want the skill we want to impact in the children is collaboration. Our learning activities must reflect them working together in pairs or in groups. So you group them. It must, involve them sharing responsibilities fairly. Okay? So it's not just the high flyers in the group that will be taking all the decisions and doing all the work. No, everyone must be involved. And then it must involve them making substantive decisions together. They must decide by themselves who is going to do what, who is going to, represent the group, who is going to speak on behalf of the group. They must be the ones to take decisions, not the educator. It's not the educator taking the decisions for them. Who is going to do what? Who is going to speak on behalf of the group? No, the pupils must take that decisions by themselves. All right. And then their work must be interdependent. So let's move on to the second one very quickly, and that will be knowledge construction. Knowledge construction. Okay. So when we talk about knowledge construction, of course, we know that knowledge construction is different from knowledge reproduction. And most of what we do in our schools is reproduction of knowledge. As educators, some of us are guilty of that. When we give our pupils assignments, we ask them, just state it the way I have taught you. Define it the way I have taught you. That is knowledge reproduction. We're not challenging them. We're not making them think, okay? How you know that your child or your pupil has understood what you have taught is when that child is able to say that thing in his own understanding, in his own way, in his own words. Then you will know that he has gotten the concept of what you are trying to pass across. But if he's just reproducing that knowledge for you, it now is the name of people, animal, place, or things. It's just reproducing that knowledge. But it should be able to apply that knowledge. It should be able to distinguish. It should be able to compare. It should be able to contrast. It should be able to evaluate. It should be able to explain. Okay? That is knowledge construction and not reproduction. And that is what we hope to achieve in our classroom, helping our pupils to construct their own knowledge, helping them to apply their own knowledge. Okay, what they've learned, they should be able to apply it in a new context. They should be able to think critically. Okay, I am in this condition. What will I do? What do I do? How do I go about this? Based on my previous knowledge of what I've learned in my class, how can I apply this knowledge? You have taught your pupils naira and kobo. You have taught them money. You have taught them addition and subtraction in the classroom. That child should be able to go to the supermarket, spend money in the supermarket, and know the correct change to collect. That child should be able to go on errand for the parents to go and get something outside and know the correct amount is supposed to bring back as change based on the knowledge, okay, of currency, addition, and subtraction they have taught in the classroom. If that child does not know what change to collect, then he has not constructed that knowledge and he has not applied that knowledge. He needs to be retaught. So that is what knowledge construction is talking about. The ability of the learner to apply what has been learned in a new context. The ability of the learner to practice critical thinking. The ability of the learner to adapt their current knowledge to a new situation. Okay? You have taught that child classes of food in basic science. Okay? The child gets to physical education, where he also encounters classes of food. He should be able to use that previous knowledge in basic science that he has learned classes of food to navigate in physical education. And then when he gets to home economics or foods and nutrition, he should be able to use that knowledge to gain higher knowledge about the classes of food because he has been taught, okay? So he can translate that knowledge, he can transfer that knowledge from one discipline to another discipline, from one course of study to another course of study. It can apply the knowledge he has gained in the classroom outside the classroom in the real world. Then he will be constructing his knowledge and applying his knowledge, or applying the knowledge he has constructed in the classroom. So that's about knowledge construction. So on the knowledge construction rubrics, we're looking at level 1. Level 1 says knowledge construction is not taking place. That's level 1. If the activity is not about knowledge construction, if it's just about knowledge reproduction, then it's a level 1 on the knowledge construction rubrics. Okay? So for you to move to level 2, the objective must be knowledge construction. You want them to construct their knowledge. Okay? But the main requirement is not knowledge construction. That is the level 2 of the knowledge construction rubrics. Okay? Then for you to move to a level 3 of the knowledge construction rubrics, that means there is knowledge construction. The main effort is not knowledge construction. The main effort is knowledge construction, but there is no conceptual understanding. That is level 3. Remember, level 1, no knowledge construction. Your objective is not for them to be able to analyze, it's not for them to be able to explain, it's not for them to be able to differentiate. Maybe you just want them to define. That's the objective, just want them to define. Okay, so knowledge construction is not taking place. It's just knowledge reproduction. That's level 1. Then level 2, there's knowledge construction taking place, but that's not your main effort. Okay, that is not the main effort. You just want them to know it at that level, introduce them to that new idea, but you're not going deeper into it. You're going deeper into it for a later time. All right, but just want them to know it, you just want to expose them to it, you just want them to be aware of it. That is level 2. Then for level 3, there's knowledge construction, and knowledge construction is your main effort. Okay, for them to just know it, for them to have that new knowledge, but no conceptual understanding. You're not going deeper into it as a topic. That's level 3. Then for level 4, there's knowledge construction. Knowledge construction is the main effort. And then there's conceptual understanding. You have introduced them to the topic. They are aware of the topic. And then they can explain the topic. They can analyze the topic. They can differentiate. They are going deeper. When you begin to compare and contrast, when you begin to analyze, when you begin to evaluate, you are going deeper into that topic, into that subject. That means you're having conceptual understanding. You can differentiate. Okay? That's why you have questions like, what's the difference between this and this? Compare and contrast. Okay? Explain. Very well. This concept, this particular concept, that child has gained conceptual understanding of that knowledge that you are trying to pass across. So that's the level 4 of the knowledge construction. Then for level 5, for you to be a level 5, they must apply that knowledge, or that knowledge must be interdisciplinary. Okay? They must apply that knowledge. That's the highest point, the peak of the knowledge construction rubric, the application of that knowledge. So you have taught the child has conceptual understanding of the concept you have taught, and then the child is able to practicalize that knowledge, is able to reproduce that knowledge, is able to use it. That is level 5 of the knowledge construction rubric, okay? So it's either the child is able to apply that knowledge or is able to use it in another discipline. That means that knowledge is interdisciplinary. And that is a level 5 of the knowledge construction rubric. Okay? So when a learning activity helps the learners to connect content to deepen their understanding, then it becomes interdisciplinary. The knowledge you have in basic science is helping you in biology. It's helping you in foods and nutrition. The knowledge of classes of food that you have in basic science, you're able to use it. It's able to help you to deepen your knowledge, your understanding of that topic when you get to your biology class, when you get to your foods and nutrition class, then that knowledge becomes interdisciplinary. Okay? For example, our English language, of course, we know our English language is interdisciplinary because that's the language that you will use to read other courses. So if you cannot read, then you may not be able to excel in other disciplines. So your knowledge of English language is very key to your success in other areas of your learning. So that knowledge becomes interdisciplinary. So that's that about knowledge construction. So level 1, no knowledge construction. Level 2, there's knowledge construction, but that is not the main effort. Level 3, there's knowledge construction. Knowledge construction is the main effort, but there is no conceptual understanding. Level 4, there's knowledge construction. Knowledge construction is the main effort, and there is conceptual understanding of the concepts taught. Level 5, there's knowledge construction. Knowledge construction is the main effort. There's conceptual understanding, and that knowledge is applied or it is interdisciplinary. It connects to other disciplines. You can relate to it in other disciplines. It helps your knowledge. It deepens your understanding of the subject matter in other disciplines. Okay, so that's that about knowledge construction. Do we have any questions so far? Any questions so far? So when you're talking about knowledge construction, you are talking about the ability of the child to interpret, the ability of the child to analyze a content, and the ability of a child to synthesize. That would be knowledge construction. And like I said, knowledge construction is different from knowledge reproduction. So we must be very careful in our learning objectives. What do I want to achieve with these children? Okay, so if it's knowledge construction, it will mean you want them to be able to interpret, you want them to be able to analyze, and you want them to be able to synthesize and evaluate any situation at any point in time. Any questions so far, please?
Yes, I think I had a question.
Okay.
The level 4 and level 5. Can you give me basically the difference? It's kind of very related.
Okay. Level 4, that means they have conceptual understanding of the knowledge you are passing to them, of the subject you have taught them. they can defend what they have learned. They can explain it. They can, that's why you have, when you're asking them questions like compare and contrast, what you are trying to test is their conceptual understanding of the concepts you have taught them. Do you understand? Differentiate. When you give them questions like differentiate between this and that, what you are trying to test is their conceptual understanding of what you have taught them. When you give them questions that has to do with explain, so you are testing their conceptual understanding. Those are higher order questions that test understanding of concepts taught. They are different from define. Okay? They're different from give the meaning. They're different from that. So that talks about conceptual understanding, and that is the level 4 of the knowledge construction rubric. Then level 5 is the application of that knowledge. The application of that knowledge. Like I said, you have taught a child the concept of money in the classroom. You have taught the child 500 naira, 1,000 naira, 200 naira, 100 naira, 50 naira. And then you need the child to apply that knowledge. You give the child 500 naira to go and get you something of 300 naira. Okay? Based on the knowledge you have taught that child in the classroom, the child should be able to go get that thing of 300 naira and return with a change of 200 naira. Because you have taught that child money, you have taught that child addition of money, you have taught that child subtraction of money. Okay? You have taught the child subtraction means take away. So when you buy something, or when you have 500 and you buy something of 300, what are you going to do? You're going to take away 300 from your 500 and you are left with 200. So the child knows that is to come back with 200 naira. So he's applied that knowledge you have taught him in the classroom, in the outside world, in the real world, therefore consolidating that knowledge he has achieved, he has gained in the classroom. So that's applied knowledge. Okay? So if that addition and subtraction you have taught that child at the elementary level, and it gets to the junior secondary school and is able to transfer that knowledge into what is being taught, then that knowledge has become interdisciplinary. Okay? He has used that basic knowledge of addition and subtraction to help him gain deeper understanding of addition and subtraction in the secondary school level. So that knowledge becomes interdisciplinary. Because of course, you know, they're not the same level. Okay? And if that knowledge helps him to solve problems in his physics class, that knowledge of addition and subtraction helps him in his economics class or in his commerce class, where he's going to be, or accounting class, where he's going to be balancing sheets and balancing figures, you know, without making errors, balancing accounts, then that knowledge has become interdisciplinary. Okay? So if the knowledge he has gained in one class, in one subject, helps him to gain deeper understanding in another subject, then that knowledge has become interdisciplinary. Are we clear now?
Yes, I understand that. Now, unlike level 4,